Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servant Homestead, guys. Today we are out here and we're getting ready to talk a little bit about our tillers. Now, as you all know, we do garden. We do a lot of garden here on the homestead. And one of the key things that you want to take in consideration when you have equipments that you use on a regular basis, you want to make sure, guys, that you come on out and tune your equipments up. And that's what we are getting ready to do here today, is tune up our equipments. Now, this is the one that we have been using here on the homestead for quite a while, since we moved here, and we have been gardening. And just a little side note, actually when we first moved here, you wouldn't believe it, what I was actually using to till my ground with. I was actually using a fork. Okay, that's what I was using at first when we got here, because like I said, we wanted to put stuff in the ground. Now back home in Jamaica, we grow up tilling our grounds with fork. Okay, that's what we was tilling our ground with till we got this tiller right here. Now, just to kind of give you guys a little rundown on this tiller, it's a good tiller. It's the Troy built Super Bronco tiller. It's a good tiller. Now, the only downfall with this tiller right here is the handle. I think they could have done a whole lot of better job making a better handle. I have already been through one handle, and I'm hoping that I don't have to go through another one with this season. And so over here is the new addition to the homestead. Yes, new addition. This one right here is a Yard Machines tiller. Picked this up from a lady, older lady, and she says, you know what, I have been using this tiller right here only 2 times. She bought it, wanted to get into gardening, and she only used it 2 times, guys. And so, you know, so far it's looking good. But before we go ahead and even start working this tiller right here, I definitely want to go ahead and do some tune up on it. You know, this older one here, it never lets me down. Every time I go ahead and crank that ripcord, cranks up and do what it has to do. And this one right here been doing the same thing as well. Now, so one of the things that we want to talk about as we get ready to tune up our tiller, first we're gonna come on back here, let the camera lady show you what's going on back here. Now down here on this tiller, because you know, like I said, we use this tiller very often on this homestead here, and if you can see the blade on this tiller, it is pretty much worked out. Just to kind of give you guys a comparison of what the blade looks like, that's the difference. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and change out this blade right here. Now, the beauty about with this blade, they have it to where you can actually take this bolt off and the blades will come out. But I don't have any replacement blade, but I do have this one right here. This, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to hold on to it at a later date. Okay, and also over here we have our oil, and you're looking at the Honda engine oil. It's 10W30, and that is what these tiller right here call for. And so we're going to be doing that as well, changing out the oil. And also we have some gear oil. You want to make sure you check your gear oil as well. And also we're going to check our filter and our spark plug. Well, the spark plug I'm not going to change today, because this spark plug right here should be good. Okay, probably got maybe about another season on it before I change it on out. But with no further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into it and start changing out these parts, changing the oil. I'm just going to change the oil on film for this one, and then we'll do the other one off film. But nonetheless, let's get into it, guys. Okay, guys, and so right here, I'm just going to go ahead, start loosening the bolt for this one right here. Okay guys, and so it was a little bit tough to come off, so I had to go ahead and get me some liquid wrench. And so just kind of, tap it a little bit until I get it to break. And so far, we finally got it to break. And you definitely don't want to tap these thing too hard, because you don't want to mess up any gears or anything like that on the inside. Okay. And so there she go. I just want to show you guys the difference. Look at that. You can see the difference. Now, the thing about it is, I definitely want to get this changed, because when I'm out there tilling, this here is not going down deep enough into the dirt like I wants it, because simply a lot of it has been eaten, the metal been eaten away. But this right here should go ahead and do the job, and that's what we're looking for. All right. Spray a little bit. Now, one of the thing is, this did came off a different machine, so I'm kind of praying, that it will line up just right with this one. If not, then I'd have to just go to plan B, which is buying some turn for this here, some blades. Right. Just spraying a little bit of that on there so it can slide on easily. All right, so stay tuned. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing here lined up, and I'll bring you guys back shortly. Okay, and so we got the blade on. Actually, it fits up real nice, and so I'm happy. I don't have to run out and grab any blades, so that's a start right there. So now we're gonna get on over here to the other ones. So just stay tuned. We're gonna go ahead, take it off, and go ahead and slap them on, so that way we can go ahead and get into changing the oil for this tiller here. Okay, and so now we have both of them changed out. Now we're gonna go ahead and bolt it back on up, and then we can go ahead and move on over there to changing our oil, so we can get on out in that garden and do some work. All right. So now we get on up here. And so right here on these tiller right here, guys, you have this bolt right here. This is where you want to go ahead and open up this bolt right here, so you can drain out your oil. And you want to make sure that your tiller is sitting on a level surface when you get ready to drain your oil. And look at that, the oil is still pretty, because this oil was changed when I first bought this tiller last year, and you can see it's still looking pretty. And before you start draining your oil, you want to run your tiller so you can warm the oil up on the inside before you start draining. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to drain this oil out, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, guys, and so now that you have all the oil drained out of the tiller, now before you start putting oil back in, you want to make sure you go ahead and tighten up your drain plug. You want to put that back on, and tighten it up, okay? All right, so that's nice and tight. Now where you're going to be putting your oil in inside of this tiller is you're going to be right here where this yellow cap is. And some tillers out there may be different, so you might have to check your manual to make sure you're doing putting it into the right hole. All right, and so of course, like I said, we have our Hunter 10W30, and I'm going to pull the top off of that. And of course, you're going to need a funnel. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to put this funnel in, and we're going to fill it up with oil until the oil start running out of this hole right here. That right there let us know that this tiller is the engine block is full all the way, or not so much the engine block, but it's full to capacity with oil where it needs to be. Make sure you get any debris out of your filter. Funnel, yes, your funnel. Right, and so now we're just gonna go ahead and fill this baby on up. Right, I think we are there. And you can see where that is filled all the way, and I'm just letting all that excess oil go ahead and drain on out back into my little jug here. Okay, and so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put our cap back on. And now we're going to go ahead and also check our oil level just to make sure that it is all the way filled up.
Yes, in between low and high.
Yes. And so what we'll go ahead and do is just put a little bit more in there just to make sure that we have it right where we want it. And so that is it right there, guys, right where we needs it. And so now we're going to move on to the next step, which is checking our gear oil. Okay guys, and now that we have the oil sorted out, now we're going to move on over here to the gear oil and just check that just to make sure that it is topped off and it is good and ready to go. All right. I'm just getting all the debris from around it because we definitely don't want any dirt to get on the inside of our gearbox. and we're gonna just simply go ahead and pull that plug. And far as what I'm looking at here, we can use some gear oil. Now the gear oil that I'm using inside of this one right here is 85W140. All right, and so we're just gonna go ahead and fill it on up and top it off. And you definitely want to make sure that you get gear oil inside of here, because you don't want to grind up your gears. I have already had a tiller that kind of went bad on me, but nonetheless, that's why we're making sure that we follow all these procedures here. All right, and so that right there is tapped off with gear oil. And of course, through the process of us using this tiller here, we definitely want to come back on through, check it again, and make sure that the gear oil is tapped off where it needs to be, because you don't want it to run out of oil when you're out there working, because it get hot and you'll burn up your gears. Now what we're gonna do, last but not least, guys, we're gonna come on over here and check our filters, just to make sure that it is nice and clean and everything is looking good. And so far with this filter here, everything is looking good with it. Excuse me there. And yes, just gonna go ahead and knock it out just a little bit, just to make sure that we don't have any debris on the inside. I'm gonna take this little sponge off, and so far this filter is looking real good. Still can see light through it, so that's good. All right, let's give it a little tap here, so just in case any debris, any dust that's on the inside, we can get that out. And so what we're going to go ahead and do now is put this sponge back on and kind of help dust and stuff from going inside. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, put them back on, and voila, this tiller right here is ready to go. And so I'm gonna go ahead, clean up my mess and get to the other one. But let's see here what it does for us. We're gonna go ahead and crank her up real quick. And so that is it right there, guys. If you all have a tiller out there that you're using on your homestead, in your garden, just go ahead and give it a tune up so you can have it running nice and smooth for the springtime. And as y'all can hear that and see, it is running like a champ. And so, hey, I'm gonna put some here in these tires, and I'm getting ready to put her to work. And so y'all just stay tuned. You know, I pray you guys like the content y'all got here today. If you do, just go ahead, throw a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share this video with someone out there, guys. So, one down, one to go. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you guys out there. Have a blessed day.